All right, guys, welcome back to the Updating Wizard Guide. My name is Glocktane. This is going to be about Wipe 3. This is going to be huge. This season, they are adding multi-classing. And so with the addition of multi-classing, there was a lot to go over as well. Basically, the big takeaway is there are new ways to deal with the old classes, and there are a couple classes that we need to start looking out for. So without further ado, let's dive on in. The new skin, first and foremost, looks fantastic. So glad I did that. I accidentally deleted my character for Demigod, because if you'll notice in the previous videos, it was Glocktane LLVE, and I was like, oh yeah, now I can finally have it just say live. So I immediately deleted it, created it, and then I went to go equip everything, and I was like, where's all of my stuff? And I was told by the community I needed to redeem it first. So yeah, no Demigod cape for this guy, but on another account, one of these bad boys, we got the skeletons. So, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not that bad. Let's go ahead and dive on in. There's only like 2 changes to Wizard, but they are massive. So, first and foremost, reward tokens and learning tokens are different if you didn't already know. Reward tokens, you can get 3 random ones at level 25. That is going to be added later. It is not in the game yet. Learning tokens are going to be at 35. You can see up in the top right here. And you can use those learning tokens to learn an ability from another master. Now, I've been no-lifing for like 17 hours over the past 3 freaking days, and I'm only level 19. It's crazy. The XP drop-off is insane. I don't know how casuals are ever going to compete with tryhards. They tried to make it so it's like, oh, casuals can compete. Casuals are going to get shit on, and I don't know what they're going to do about it. So, hopefully, comment down below what you think Iron Mace needs to do to help casuals play against people like me who get paid to do this shit. So I am very curious what you guys think. Please comment down below, say your Twitch name, shit like that. But moving on, we're going to talk about what one of the biggest changes to Wizard ever has been. This is called Spell Overload. It is a new perk, and it has 2 effects. Reduces spell memory capacity by 60% and increases all spell counts by 100. The reason this is so insane is twofold. 1, I don't have to rest in between every single fight. If I get third-partied, I have a chance to fight back. I'm not just a plucked chicken who's now getting screwed over. It's great. It's one of the best changes in the world. But it also limits. It also limits the crap out of your spells. So it's pretty great because I don't have to sit, and you can fight multiple people. But it does limit the crap out of your spells. Luckily, we had a donator, not even just a chatter. Laugh to press. I would do a lot of sound effects, but I don't really have any sound effects going right now. I'm going to go ahead and put up a screenshot of his little donation here. He said, Glocktane, does it work with add spell memory? And boy howdy, was this probably one of the most important donations we've gotten in a while. So, without further ado, we're going to tell you how to abuse Spell Overload. Spell Overload, see how it gives you the 10 zaps and 10 ice bolts? Well, if you combine that with Ice Mastery, I was watching Rush Frog, and he was trying to figure out how to make this work in the previous patches, and it was okay. But the fact that it only worked with 1 ability made it seem kind of eh. And so Radami, another great wizard on YouTube, was talking about how once you get high enough knowledge, you use slow, so that way the cast time actually mattered. Right? I've been a proponent to not use slow because a lot of characters are bugged. There are fighters that can sprint and overdo it. There was the barbarian problem where it literally did not work against barbarians. I still don't think it does. Me and my mods did the math, and shout still seems to override it. But that's another problem. So what Ice Mastery is going to be able to do for you now, where whenever you deal damage with ice magic, it freezes the target's feet and prevents them from moving for 0.5 seconds. You can now freeze that person 10 times. If a barbarian is rushing you and you just start throwing ice bolts out, even if you hit him once, I don't even have to look away. I can just start hitting him. God help that barbarian if they have anything other than like a Viking sword or a horseman's axe, right? Even against Frannies, I was still punking them. It's crazy. So having the spell overload with Ice Mastery is insane right now. It is the strongest version of self-peel for a wizard in the game right now. Don't worry about swapping between spells, changing, throwing, because if you miss slow, you are 100% of the time in a disadvantaged state. For those of you that are familiar with like Smash Brothers and all that kind of shit, disadvantaged state is essentially when you are now on your back foot and you are trying to regain neutral footing in the fight, because every fight is a tug of war, right? But if you depend on Ice Mastery instead of slow, you don't have to be pinpoint accurate. It's not a hit scan ability. So they are weaving, right? But with slow, they could do one of these, right? With their hitboxes. But with Ice Mastery, if they do that, that's not enough to dodge the ability. So in essence, it forces them to create a larger serpentine just by the essence of what it is. It has the same cast time. It binds them instead of slowing them. And you don't have to swap spells to keep doing damage. It's fantastic. It is a wonderful tool. I personally pair this with Arcane Shield as opposed to, say, Quick Cast. I know a lot of people are on the Intense Focus right now, or Meditate. I haven't had to use Meditate. I barely even use Campfires. That's only if I get 2 or 3 kills in a match, which is a lot of fighting, by the way. So at the end of the day, if you are truly struggling, what I consider to be the new wizard meta is, instead of going Crystal Sword, Book, and trying to get high knowledge and doing 10 spell and all that crap, go Arcane Shield, use Staff Mastery, Spell Overload, Ice Mastery, and then early game wizard is going to suck. It is going to suck hard. But with these 3 perks, and I leave the last one open to interpretation. I know a lot of people are going to want to go Ice Shield. So that way, even if they do get on you, that's going to be another huge slow against them, which is pretty solid. I know a lot of people are going to say Fire Mastery for Cleric, Fighter, and Warlock when you're going against them. Because Fighter, Second Wind, Cleric heals a bunch. And then Warlock also has a new perk where whenever they hit you or any applicable target, they heal. They now just have lifesteal as a perk because they're SDF's favorite child. I don't know why he does that. But you need to have a version of self-peel in the game now. Iron Will, Anti-Magic, and Clerics being able to build such a high level of will, you're not going to be able to get away with low movement unless you're in trios. So once you're in trios, you don't have to worry about high movement. But you'll still want that self-peel, because if they phantomize and just run at you, or they have somebody trying to peek through, you're gonna want that self-peel. And that's pretty much the argument for it. And then the 4th perk is kind of like whatever you want. I find myself going with Mana Surge most of the time because I usually just need more damage. Arcane Mastery I don't use anymore because my spell setup, Magic Missile, I just use for the mobs. But what I find myself doing most of the time is Ignite with Staff Mastery. I can clear the mobs even with default gear and High Roller with 3 to 4 hits. That's a huge change. With how low your action speed is, or your dexterity, whatever you want to consider it as, if you're meleeing each mob 6 times, we can say that's roughly about 7 seconds, right? If there's 3 mobs in there, 21 seconds if you hit every single headshot, right? But if you use the Ignite Staff Mastery, you can usually 3-hit or 4-hit every single mob, even if they're nightmares. What that means is it shaves off either half the time or a little under half. So 18 seconds, or I'm sorry, from 21 all the way down to like 14 seconds, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. The reason that's so important is because in the new 3x3 map meta, it has become basically just ringing the dinner bell as soon as someone spawns. I myself have been finding that I absolutely need to get multiple kills to survive a single game. So if we look up here in my Goblin Caves High Roller solos, sorry about that. you'll see that I've played 56 games, only 39 extractions. Total kills is over 60, right? So I'm over 1. And I've died 16 times. If I don't get those 2 kills a game, I don't survive. And this isn't even counting like the kills that, you know, a goblin happens to swing and hit the last one. Someone else third parties and gets the kill. I'm saying that if I don't witness and take action on 2 other players dying, very rarely do I get out. There's not enough portals. You just can't team anymore. If you team, you fuck over everybody. Because then at the end, most of the time, you and the other person are fucked. So that's my take on the new goblins. The hardest part of this was figuring out what spells I was going to use. So this is your very introduction, right? As soon as you get a little bit of gear or a little bit of money, the very next thing you need to realize is that spell overload has a workaround. That's right. That's right. So you see that we have 8 spell memory because of spell overload. But what if I told you that anything that has additional memory capacity on it, or just memory capacity bonus in general, is a workaround? So if I put on the +2 additional memory capacity necklace, I now have 10. Oh, but Glocktane, that's not too crazy. Well, dear viewer, the reason it's insane is that you can build up just enough spell memory to do whatever you really want still, while also having the 10 zaps, the 10 ice bolts, 20 ignites, locking doors, 10 magic missiles for bossing, you name it, right? So that's only 2, right? That's 1 pendant that cost me 39 gold. Do not go around screaming this from the rooftops. This is how Wizard is going to get a week of like good times. If you're following this channel and you're subscribed and you ring that little bell or you like the video, you're going to get the drop on this information. So once again, thank you, Laughing Depressed, for fucking asking the question. This is very simple, right? But at the end of the day, now I can still rock whatever perks I want. Oh, did I need 8 invises? Oh, did I need magic missile as well? And the ability to use ignite? That's 2 pieces of like shite gear. The all attributes doesn't matter, right? So if I put on, let's see here, 3 will to all attributes, it cuts your knowledge memory. Essentially, the way the formula breaks down is knowledge equals so much. I'm pretty sure it's like a 1-to-1 for knowledge, right? The more plus you have over a certain number, you get 1 knowledge, right? Then spell overload is like, okay, well, let's cut that shit down. But then after that equation, spell memory bonus percent is like, okay, well, what's the percent? It's like 8%. Yeah, it says they have this much knowledge. Yeah, so then add this much. How's that get past testing? This was 1 of 2 changes. I don't know if this was on purpose. I don't know if this was to make that specific spell stat worth it again. No idea. But at the end of the day, pretty freaking neat. Pretty freaking neat. The reason we were falling behind Warlocks was because they could infinitely cast Darkbolt. They have the anti-magic perk and they have high resistances because of Malice and High Will, right? Their Darkbolt was only costing them like 1 HP. That's just what it is. So if they drank a health potion, they could just throw as many dark bolts as they wanted from outside of range. Oh, you have 5 ice bolts? You can't really compete with that, right? Now we have a chance. It's still like 50% magic resist on most like green gear warlocks, which in of itself is ass, but we have a chance. Rogues are no longer pure invis, so we don't have to gear specifically against rogues. Once again, I'm just going to put on the good thing here to show you how it works, right? One setup that a lot of people have been talking about is the fact that they don't even worry about having invis anymore because now they can just ignite whenever they need to kill the mobs. It's no longer a death sentence to have PvE on you for wizard. Explosion is a wonderful way to start engagements. Zap is perfect for finishing off an enemy or trying to get in quick shots. So that way, you know, if they're using a survival bow or they're trying to throw frannies at you, you can continue to move. And then Ice Bolt when they start closing the gap because it's free hits. So then the other change was really just the addition of Magic Lock. Lockable objects such as doors or boxes will be locked for 20 seconds. I think this is kind of bad. I think it's kind of silly. In solos, it's like if you have a very niche situation, cool. It does not keep the doors open though. So if you wanted to permanently keep a door open during a fight, you'd still have to explode it with like explosion or fireball. And the reason that sucks is because this magic lock spell could have been very important for solos to control the pacing of a fight, because if a fighter or a ranger is just constantly opening the door or closing the door on you, their resource is so much higher than yours, or say even a rogue, that at the end of the day, you're kind of screwed. So if they want to disengage the fight, them closing the door, you can't use magic lock on it, right? You'd still have to fireball it. I always thought that maybe if you got 2 casts off, it keeps the door open. Maybe if you cast it while it's open, they can't close it. So that way, if you're chasing somebody, you have a utility way to keep it chased. Barbarians, I'm pretty sure, can still crush through it because fireball can still break it. It's just that you can't interact with it. Chests stay closed. I don't know. I don't know why they added this, I'll be honest. In trios, it's very good against buff ball. So that's pretty cool. Like these things are locked. It's not like you can pick lock it or even use the Unchained Harmony song. If you guys know of any weird interactions, go ahead and comment down below. I really do want to know what you guys find crazy specific about Magic Lock. But I do think Spell Overload is going to rapidly get nerfed. Especially if people start sharing about the whole memory capacity thing. That's just kind of it. So, other than that, guys, just have fun. Just have fun. I'd say probably the parting thoughts are like how Spell Overload can be used on all of these. Fireball, spam AoEs. Lightning Strike, again, spam AoEs. If your team's fighting in a little doorway, you can spam the shit out of Lightning Strike now. Chain Lightning, if you're playing with a Warlock, have them throw down a Hydra in the back line and you just chain it over and over. That could be really good with intense focus. Magic Missile makes bossing go so fast. Haste, getting 8 hastes. That's just really good for solo play in general. Slow, 10 slows. Really good trolling content. Really fucking funny. 20 ignites, really good for clearing everything. Explosions. Explosion is an overpowered spell, in my opinion, where you can now play on the corners very, very well. People say it's like the stronger version of Zap. No, Zap wishes it was Explosion. Okay, Zap is a beta cuck for Explosion. Okay, it's in the cock and ball torture. Explosion's hitbox, it has to be so much bigger. So much bigger because, I don't know. Play around with it. I genuinely think you'll be just in awe of how strong it is. Light Orb is dog now because Rogue Invis is apparently just terrible. I still haven't experienced it. Invis is very nice. Clearing off the mobs and all that crap on you. But look at, like, 10 zaps, 10 frostbolts, 8 explosions. That's 28 damaging spells at range. 28. I no longer have to take every single damaging spell and build an insane amount of knowledge and do 10 spell. You can now do Arcane Shield, Intense Focus, Meditate, all that crap. I personally say Arcane Shield mixed with Staff, Spell, Ice Mastery, and then you pick whatever one you want. I personally think that that is the best setup because you can build against whatever you want. 10 spell, if you can get additional memory. Insane for trios. Still fucking crazy. So, that's a lot of the big recent changes that I've noticed for the third wipe. My name is Glocktane. If you guys want to catch me live, I stream usually at 1 p.m. and then I go all the way till like dinner time, whenever I start getting hungry. Let's be honest. And so thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the Gobby Caves. Deuces.